I could do desk drums. Wait.
How's everyone doing?
Hey, welcome Jesse, welcome Hot Pro. Thank you for that. I love it. And we're going to have some more tunes throughout the show. It's going to be a musical show. But welcome to the PulseChain Ladies Stream. And we have just the right ratio to call it a ladies stream. Plus
we
Jesse
do. That's the minimum ratio that you can have to call it that.
Pulled it off. Yes, nailed it.
I love numbers.
Nailed it. Thanks for being here, Jesse and Hot Pro.
Thanks for having me on.
I'm excited to talk to you because I know that you both have big brains. And people are, they're clawing on to PulseChain, looking at that ETH BTC ratio, like their life depends on it.
Do you have it available? What is the ratio now?
I do have it. If I can, I'm a bit slow clicker. If you bear with me.
It is kind of wild. Everyone, markets so often do the opposite of what everyone thinks they're going to do, right? So everyone thought ETH was going to be the thing that just took off, and Bitcoin was kind of old school, and the exact opposite happened. So much of it was priced in, from everybody thinking that for years and accumulating, that when the time came that this little bull market started, like there was nobody left to buy it.
That's why the ones that are rich are the edgies. They're just no contrarians. They're the ones who end up going up.
Right.
All right. I got you a daily. I got you an ETH BTC daily, and we are clawing on. Absolutely clawing onto hope here. It looks like it's broken out on the daily, which is super exciting. On the weekly, and not so much. But let's just stick to the daily chart, and that looks very promising. So what do we got? ETH price today. We got 3,297 ETH price. We got a BTC price 102,000. Yeah, it's an okay day. It's an okay day. I like to look at the ratios. The sold BTC ratio is unfortunately probably looking like it's going down, which means that SUI must be going up and against BTC, and ETH must be going up against BTC. It seems to kind of swap around a little bit, like BTC and Sol go together, and then they sort of take turns. And now it's ETH's turn, maybe SUI's turn.
I know a lot of people are kind of. I'm really gonna blame Trump token for some of this because some people have put their eyes on altcoins and been interested in either ERC20s or Solana or whatever. So. I know that's not the whole reason, but it's one of the reasons people are a little more interested in just Bitcoin. And you go on X, Twitter, and people are talking about crypto like they've never talked about it before, especially with the SEC, the stuff, new president, new rules with crypto. Even the taxes are being talked about, right? So I don't know what that means to altcoin season if it changes it up and makes it a little bit backwards, because that's what they're trying to pump up, I guess, DeFi, right? Instead of the centralized, mostly Bitcoin. So maybe people have responded to that a little bit.
Yeah, he mentioned self-custody wallets in his executive order, self-custody crypto. And I thought that was extremely bullish. I was like, oh, it just for me, it brought a lot of legitimacy to crypto. And for years, you can't really talk about crypto in front of your kids because they're going to tell their teachers, and then people are going to think you're even weirder than what you already are.
That's all right, Claus, own it.
Own it. Yeah, so when he said it, when he had it there in the orders, I was like, oh. And Australia follows US, like with a lot of financial policy. So yeah, it felt like we were being legitimized. I was really surprised and excited. What do you think, Jesse?
I think all the talk from Trump and his cronies is very positive for crypto. No taxes. That's wild, ain't it? I mean, he's talking about getting rid of taxes altogether.
I mean, that technically makes a difference with protocols like liquid loans and, Power City, depending on what you do with them, right? If you're factoring that sort of thing in, how, sorry, I'm adjusting my light, but I mean, that affects everything. It affects how things work, affects what your taxes are going to be when you're really being diligent about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome.
I'm going to bring up a gopulse.com for a second here. There we go. And let's have a look what the prices are doing today. We're on a 24-hour. So we seem to be a bit stagnant with the PLS price. 4 zeros and a 5. Seems to be sitting there. Hex as well seems to be sitting at about
people are poised
1.4.
with their stable coins on the PulseChain. Like, what's going to happen with this court case?
Exactly. I'm seeing a lot of alerts go through, money going in and just sitting there, which doesn't really make sense to me because they must be banking on the price dumping, because that would make sense not to deploy now.
Well, I mean,
it's either going to go one or two ways,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is volatile too, especially with Hex kind of losing some of the liquidity.
Because I mean, on the decision, if it's if it's dismissed, then they're going to be catching the candle going up. So I mean, for me, Hex seems like, I wouldn't say 100% sure bet, but I don't know. I'd be personally, I'm loading up a little bit there. I'd like to say hi to the chat here, and then we're going to hit another song before we talk about Power City. We got Maddie first in chat. How you doing, Maddie?
Hey, Maddie, what's going on, man?
Appreciate you. Hex Glenn, Red Squirrel, oi oi. We got Fast Abdul here for the check.
Cool.
Red Squirrel wants to know our secrets. Oh, I got none. Squirrel. I've got such a big mouth, Red Squirrel. If I had one, I'd tell you, but there, none. Academaciated, always butcher your name. Need a drummer? Yes. I didn't know if you heard our drumming, if you didn't like it, or. Hey, Tam, what's up? Good to see you in the chat. All right, Jesse, shall we hit another song and then we can talk about Power City?
Sure. I mean, sure.
I can do desk drums. I love
Hey. That was great.
So let's think about PulseChain for a second. How far do we have to go before the next court hearing thing for Richard? Do we know that?
It's been more than 90 days now.
Nuclear Herbs just guessed it was 60 to 90 days, but it technically could be longer. Not to interrupt you, Claus.
Oh no, not at all. Like somebody made a good point online. Like, wouldn't it make sense for the SEC to come to the conclusion of their meetings following Trump's inauguration and then contact the court and just say that they want it dismissed, rather than her having to write something out in completeness, give a ruling, and then they were going to contact her anyway. So I think she's just waiting for that, which would make sense.
Sounds
well. I think there will probably be a lot of cases just dropped or dismissed. Whether it's dropped because the SEC wants to drop it, or it's dropped because the judges say, you know what, this is ridiculous. Not all cases are going to be dropped, though. Think of it this way. A new administration comes in every 4 years, if we don't see cases, no matter what department it's from, right? It could be FBI, it could be SEC, it could be all these different places. Sure, some of those cases will get dropped, based off of political affiliations with the new president that comes in. But I'd say most of them typically don't, right? So we're all sitting here hoping, and I'm not trying to FUD, we're all hoping that, okay, Trump's in office, his case is going to be thrown away because of that. But that's not necessarily the case, right? They could still have hundreds of cases that go through, his being one of them. So don't put all your eggs in one basket thinking, my eggs are in the basket of, it's likely that it might continue to go through, but he's simply going to win it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jesse. And I say this a lot. Like,
that would be cool. That would be cool.
I say this a lot in chats and stuff when I'm like, for example, when I was watching DeFi Down Under, everyone please subscribe. That's an Aussie stream. And I say this a lot in the chat, and I talk about people having a hedge. And people must think I'm joking because I am such a maxi when it comes to Hex on PulseChain. But I'm actually not joking. I have a hedge, and it's so important to have a hedge. And also not just, having a hedge, but like you said, the case automatically, if it doesn't get dismissed, then the numbers could end up being very unkind to you this cycle, which is why a lot of people talk about the value of staking and so on. I've experimented on other chains. The big people should be looking at the ratios, like the ratios that we went through at the start of the screen, the ETH BTC ratio, Sol BTC, Sui BTC, and that's how you form your hedge with things that are a little bit less risky.
What else? What else is also, in my opinion, a great play in all markets is just parking coins in a place where you can earn a yield, right? Maybe you don't want to sell your coins because you have no idea if the price is going to go up or down. So you say, you know what, I'm just going to hold them. If they go down, they go down, but at least I'll have more of them later. So staking your Pulse coins, for example, in a protocol like Vouch, where they're
Jexa.
where they're used for validating. Cool. You don't really want to sell your coins, but you have no idea what the price is going to be, but you're happy holding them. You might as well put them to work and earn some more of them, just sitting on them. The same way you do with Hex, right? You stake your Hex because you like it and you get more Hex. You can do the exact same thing with stuff like Pulse, just getting creative and using things like Jex's protocol.
Yeah, because you did a video on the Power City website for Vouch in one of your live videos I saw. Mm-hmm. I didn't get around to watching it, but so Vouch is obviously redeemable for PLS when you stake it, but is it not dependent on market price as well? What is it backed by?
So basically, you stake your Pulse into the protocol, and that Pulse ends up getting used for validating, and you get a placeholder token. You get some what's called vPulse, and the ratio between the two always broadens, right? So you may, at the very start of the protocol, maybe you put in 100 million Pulse or something, right? You would have gotten 100 million vPulse, but the ratio is always changing because the fees from validating continually get added to the pool, and it just broadens that ratio. So now maybe you put in 100 million Pulse, and you only get 900 some thousand vPulse, right? So as long as you just stay parked in the protocol, it's your vPulse that you have are always redeemable for equal amount of Pulse plus all the fees that have been accumulating, because of that ratio, right? So initially, like I said, maybe you put in 100 million Pulse, and if you had unstaked immediately, you would have got back 100 million Pulse. If you had unstaked your vPulse, you would have got back 100 million Pulse. But if you sat in there for a couple months, you go to unstake and you see, oh wow, I'm going to unstake and I'm going to get 100 million, 50,000 Pulse, right? Or something like that. because the fees just keep adding themselves. The validator fees just keep adding themselves to this pool, which you have a share of.
Makes sense. Oh, that's cool. That's really well explained, Jesse, because I just wasn't getting it. I thought it was like the I thought it was something like the maxi thing, but that makes sense. It's actually going into validating and earning fees. Oh, cool.
Well, I guess in the
good.
sense that it's a pool and you're part of it, but
We got True Blue. We got Logi33 here. How's it going?
hey guys.
Jesse's in the chat, talking to his people in code. I don't know what that means.
In code. In musician.
Oh, it's the name of a song. I'm so bad with names of music. Oh, Briz is in the chat. Briz, there was a great post from Tango about ink, which I might bring up later. Tarnwig, how's it going? And Par Excellence is there, looking after the baby. Thank you. Hopefully she's still asleep. Let's go into Power City. So Jesse, tell me, how's Power City gone since PulseChain 4?
Yeah, so we have a number of protocols launched. We have our core, which is where you can, if you own some Watt tokens, you can stake them and you can earn a percentage of all the fees from our protocols. That was the first thing that went live. We also have Earn Protocol, which is a liquidity fork for your PulseX. So you can you don't have to sell your PulseX. You can take a loan out against it. There's a number of reasons why you might want to do that. From a tax perspective, or from a, hey, I just want to earn on my PulseX perspective. And you don't even have to play with your PulseX if you don't want to. You can just accumulate some stable coins or some Earn tokens and stake either one of those and earn a variety of different fees.
And the stables on those are PXDC.
Yeah. PXDC. Now we have the same type of protocol. We call it Flex Protocol, and that's using Hex as the collateral. And the stable coin for that is HexDC.
Nice.
We have a cool search engine thing that we call Portal X. And
oh yeah, use that. That's good. That's nice.
You can go from basically any blockchain to any other blockchain using Portal X. And
it's very simple.
It basically scrapes the internet. It looks for all the available routes, and it displays them to you with their associated fees, and then you select the route that you want to take. So if you wanted to, let's say, for example, the other day, you had this Trump token thing, and you're like, I have no idea how to get over there, right? You can do you could have done a search in Portal X.
And for those who don't know, that's on the Solana chain, right?
Yeah. You could have done a search and you could have seen, oh, okay, here's the routes I can go from ETH over to Solana, or maybe there's another coin somewhere else that you're interested in. This thing will find all those available routes for you, and then you just select the route, and there you go. You swap from one thing to another. You'll have to change your MetaMask settings to jump over to that other chain. You can even go from non-EVM chains to EVM chains and vice versa. So if Bitcoin is your thing, or if you have Bitcoin and you want to jump to an Ethereum-based chain, you can also do that. So
I didn't realize.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool tool.
Yeah, that it's not just ETH and PulseChain; it's all sorts of stuff. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's probably up to I don't know, 65 or 80 or something different blockchains that you can go between in it now.
Oh,
nice. And I've seen that you've got you've done some videos about stablecoin yield. So we mentioned the PXDC, and there's the HexDC, and then there's the USDL, and then we've got FUX and 2FUX. And I've seen a couple of videos you guys have done before in regards to stablecoin yield, which is cool, because like the number one question I get asked, which is really weird question because the alt season doesn't seem to be here, although technically yes, it's here, is, or how am I going to exit? Like, what's your plan to exit? So the only question that people ask me about crypto is, how are you going to exit? Which has got me thinking about stablecoin pools and loans. And I've never been interested in taking out a loan before because I didn't want the risk, except like for exit strategies. Now I'm learning. So do you want to talk a bit about that, Jesse?
Yeah. So of course there's risks in all of crypto. to include if you're going to take a loan. And that risk simply is if you decide that you want to take a loan and the price were to go down, well, a lot, if your collateral health was very low and the price goes down a lot in your collateral, you could lose your collateral. If your collateral is worth less than the amount of stables that you minted, yeah, sure, you're going to lose your collateral. However, people really aren't thinking how not risky that actually is. It's almost like a stop loss. If you put yourself in that situation, let's say you minted 10,000 stable coins, and for some reason you said, "Oh, I'm only going to collateralize $11,000 worth of Pulse." Okay, and then the price of Pulse goes down 50% or something. Okay, you literally just locked yourself into 10,000 stable coins. Sure, you lost your collateral, but what would your collateral have been worth? Your collateral would have been worth $5,000. So you had a really good stop loss, right? So it's really not as risky as people think, especially when you add that into the fact that you can adjust your collateral health at any time. You can pay back your loan. You can top it. You can top it off. You can top off some more, add more collateral, and increase your health if you want. You can remove excess collateral. You can mint additional stable coins. You can do any one of the four things: mint more stable coins, bring them back. Add more collateral, take some out. Okay. When you can do all those things at any time at a moment's notice, what is the risk? That you just have a really, really good stop loss?
Yeah, when you think about it like that, and as time goes on, we used to talk about, I did these videos like a year or two ago about Power City. Oh, make sure you have a good collateral health. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It's like when there's no middleman, you're not getting like screwed hard as hard as if you did, right? Like that's the cool thing about DeFi and just stuff that happens mathematically like that.
Yeah, like we're used to losing more than 10% in a day. Like if you lost 10%, you'd be like, that's like a normal, if not good day, if you only lose 10%.
Now, if you're putting those stable coins to work with you or work for you, you're putting them in the stability pool, for example, and maybe you're earning, I don't know what it is right now, 10, 20%. Or more, or you're putting them into a stablecoin pool over in Fux or 2Fux, where sometimes the yields in those stablecoin pools can be 25, 30%. Okay. Even in the event that you decide you're not going to adjust your vault and the markets are tanking and everybody's losing their value and you have that really good stop loss and you decide, you know what, I'm not really going to top off my vault at all, and it was to get liquidated, does it really matter when you made up that difference elsewhere plus some? It doesn't, like, it's not the huge scary thing that everybody initially was thinking that it was going to be.
I think as the cycle goes on, I think Power City is going to be something that people are actually, and taking out loans is an exit strategy that a lot of people are going to actually use. So if you, like, I was looking at the loan token the other day, and I think it's extremely undervalued, because as people realize this and they see these videos come out, that's, oh, okay, taking a loan is actually not that risky. It's an exit strategy. Oh, and the penny drops. They're like, well, I should buy some loan token like now. That's the way I've kind of been looking at it. Like, yes, I'm going to learn about the loans and I'll start because I want to start feeling familiar. And then, like you could, I think even Hot Pro, you were going on about the loan token years ago. Like, I think you saw value in loan token.
Yeah. I mean, you can get it and you can stake loan token too, right? But I mean, if you used Liquidity, that's, it's a fork of Liquidity, but yeah, loan just, it gets more rare over time. So the earlier you get into the protocol, the better, you know what I mean? Get as much loan token as you can and stake it. And you can even earn some loan, like, through like the stability pool. Yeah, sorry. And so, yeah. And as time goes on, it pays out less and less loan. So it's good to get in there early and use it. And I guess it would be earn on Power City would be the same.
Yep.
Same thing.
Earn for our Earn protocol, which uses the PulseX.
Right. Yeah.
Flex token for
the Hex one. So I have a question about the Flex. What is the minimum amount of USD or the minimum USD amount of Hex you'd have to have in that vault?
So the minimum loan size is 500.
Oh, okay. Like the P Hex, the PulseX. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, guys, I'm getting all flustered. There's a bunch of stuff to remember, although they're all forks of Liquidity. So just
$500. Okay.
Yeah,
and do you have what if we want to practice a little bit? Sorry, Hudbro, go ahead.
Oh, the liquid loans is 2,000 though, so it's different from the Power Cities 500, the minimum amount. So that's the only difference.
And if you want to, is the testnet still working for Power City?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. We may have we may have taken. Well, the contracts still exist, but I'm not sure that we have a front end still up for people to play with it.
Yeah, no dramas. Yeah, I think loan token and the similar, like the Flex and Earn token, they got to be a really undervalued tokens. I think the penny's going to drop, I think, throughout the cycle. And I think a lot of things that have released on PulseChain haven't seen the light of day that they should have because of what's happened to PulseChain. For example, the SEC case has turned a lot of people and adoption away from PulseChain. So a lot of these protocols that have great utility and are useful, and I think people should use, they haven't seen the price action that they're going to see. And I think because we're all in a little bit of a rut waiting for the SEC decision, it's almost like a little bit of a eye of the storm or a pause in what's happening. Like we haven't seen a proper hyperball. We haven't seen the people using these protocols as they should. So I think there's a lot of tokens that you could snatch up now at a bargain price. That's the way I see it.
So many people look at the price of the token, and I'm not blaming them. Usually this is the case, right? You look at a price of a token and you say, "Oh, that protocol failed. That protocol is no good," right? Because the value of that token went down a lot or something. When you look at whether it's Liquidity or that loan token or Earn token or Flex token, those protocols still work flawlessly. People are still taking loans. They're still paying back their loans and taking more loans, and the stability pool's still emitting tokens out to people, and some people are selling those, other people are staking those, and those protocols still work flawlessly. There was just an overabundance of people who got free tokens from the airdrop who decided they were going to sell. And it's not necessarily a bad decision that they did, because what happened with PulseChain? Some bad news came out. Pulse went down a lot. Hex went down a lot. Richard, got in trouble. So can you blame those people for selling at the right time?
No, you can't blame them. No. But in the right environment, Power City, I feel like it's going to thrive, and it just hasn't been the right environment. And people haven't thought far enough ahead. For example, people with these giant Hex stacks, the liquidity of Hex is always low. It's always like 30 million. And it's even lower now. It's like 23 million. People have not done the maths. Like even one large whale is going to drain a great proportion of that liquidity that's available. People just haven't thought this through. So when people actually
that 23 million?
P-Hex, yeah.
So when it goes up, people are going to try to scramble across the bridge.
Yeah, so people will get to the end of the year and everybody's light bulb will go off. Okay, it's the end of the year. I've got a shit ton of Hex. I'm going to press the sell button.
But if you're bridging in, or you already have PulseChain stuff, it's not only are the transactions cheap. So the thing about Liquidity is the gas is more expensive on Ethereum. So no matter what the price is, you have to hedge against if you're going to do something like, I'd say the hot pearl strategy, where you're in the stability pool and you're getting like loan impulses, and then you're trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to stake this loan and try to make sure the collateralization is 1,000, whatever you're doing, right? All of these moves can, all these transactions, it's gas, right? Whereas if you're on the PulseChain, you have more wiggle room to figure out what you want to do. And that's a throughput issue, right? So even if the price of Pulse and PulseChain goes up and everything with it, this is going to be more usable because of that fact that the gas just sucks, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be cheap gas fees, but then people need to think about slippage. So a lot of big players will get to their magical date that they've come up with. They've consulted with astrology and they've decided they have a magic date, and they go to sell and they'll see that 23 million could easily be sucked out from underneath them. And they haven't thought about exit strategy. So the beauty about Power City is that you can sidestep some of these slippage problems that you're going to come into, and people just haven't thought that far ahead on the slippage issue, and that they need to educate themselves now on how to take out a loan. People just think it's, I'll do it if I want to learn. It's like, well, no, you might actually need to do it.
That's a good point, the slippage.
Maybe you should do it now because you actually need to do it later. Do you actually want to learn like the day before you need to do it on like a larger stack? Like people should be getting familiar now.
People should be getting familiar now. You know, how much if you were to buy a home and rent it out, let's say your home was just a modest $300,000 house, we'll say. How much do you think you could rent that out for in a typical Midwestern neighborhood? How much rent do you think you could get a month out of a 300?
Oh, I reckon you get $1,000.
Maybe $1,000,
depending on the market.
Maybe $1,500, maybe at most. Well, just to put that in perspective, some of these protocols like Earn, Flex, Liquid Loans, or even Liquidity over on Ethereum chain, if you were to put 300,000 stable coins into a pool, you could earn between $300 and $500 a day worth of tokens a day. Yeah. Compare that to like renting out a house, right? It's what is that? 15x difference there.
That's just making me sad because I saw my statement from the real estate the other day, and they had some problems with the plumbing, right? So the plumber went in there and fixed all the things in this piece of shit rental I have, and then we left with hardly any rent. You're like, fuck, this is bullshit. Oh, real estate. There's so many hidden costs in real estate. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And that's just
part of it's effort too. Like, can you actually just go eat a tuna sandwich, not worry about anything and make yield, or you have to actually do stuff? That's a big part of it.
You're able to just sit around and not do anything and earn a yield, right? And that's just one pool. Like when you look at all these really cool protocols that are on PulseChain, look, you could do the same thing with Jex's protocol. You know, if you had it doesn't matter the amount, but if you had 300K, same thing. Instead of buying a house and trying to rent it out, you can say, oh, I think I'm just going to get 300K worth of Pulse and drop it in Jex's thing, right? And now you're earning, I don't know, $5,000 for the Pulse a month. That's better than the rental markets. So there's so many places in crypto, whether it's Earn, Flex, Liquid Loans, Jex's thing, Flux Protocol, 2Flux Protocol, where you could just sit back and earn a yield and be comfortable. And so many people are chasing meme coins and chasing that next big pump when I don't like to do that. I like to just sit back, and not worry about the price so much and just play with the yields that I'm making.
When you're a huge shit coiner, you're afraid to go like on vacation. You're afraid to go hang out with family. Like because you can make money off of that and you can be successful, but boy, does it just take all of your attention and time. You get all tweaked out on it. You got to look at the price. And that's kind of why I like using the high collateralization because, in the event, like the less you can do and just earn yield, the better, that's the way I see it. And I'm HOD pro. I like holding, but you can hold intelligently too by either staking, LP, one of these protocols, put in the stability pool. You know what I mean? Stake a loan or earn or whatever, right? Like there are ways to do it.
Yep.
Absolutely. So we might go to another song and then we'll hit some automated strategies and then we'll wrap it up. Jeff, you got another song in you?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. So I went to a Zach Bryan concert not that long ago. Zach Bryan's like a country guy here in America.
I don't have a cowboy hat. Oh well.
Was a dreamer, and he flew so high and proud. In a world full of people, got to cut his young ass down. And no one ever understood a single word he said. They cast him to the wolves like he wasn't well fed. And boy, we got a riser in our midst. And he will get the last laugh if it's the last thing that he did. And he used to roll around in that red dirt mud. And now he's skipping town, and that riser's out for blood. Don't stop going south. 'Cause it lets you play your music real damn loud. Don't stop heading south. They will understand the words that were pouring from your mouth.
Hey, great job, Jesse. All right, I'm going to show you guys a video on automated stuff. And then we're going to ask about some strategies, the Amplifier video.
So I found this cool dApp called the Amplifier, which is a unique front end for the Liquid Loans protocol and allows me to automatically compound my daily yield. I'm going to open a vault, select the Mailbox Money auto compounding strategy, and see what it can do over the next 30 days. I put in $50K and I've earned $677.92 in a month without having to manually do anything.
Sick.
Woo!
Tell me about the Amplifier, Jesse. What does this magical auto compounding thing do?
So the Amplifier is the front end. So if you're one of those people who likes Liquid Loans, you can use multiple front ends. You can use their front end. You can use our front end. You just go to amplifier.powercity.io, fire up a smart wallet. It's all your keys, your coins, and you can do all the same things that you do in Liquid Loans. You can do all those things manually if you would like, without even doing anything automated. You can take a loan, you can pay back your loan, you can play around in the stability pool, get some yield from there, go in the staking pool, get some yield from there. You can do everything manually just like you normally could. We designed it where it's all on it's all as simple as possible when you're doing things manually. But then as you go along, you'll see that, oh, wait, you can actually tell this protocol the strategies that you like. So Hodpul's got a strategy, for example, she'll tell you about. You can tell this protocol, hey, this is what I like to do, and have the system automate all those transactions for you every day. So you just fund some gas into it, and every day it'll claim your yields, and then it'll sell your yields or compare.
Oh, how do you put gas into it, Jess?
Yeah, so
there's a video.
Inside there, you'll see that there's like a gas meter.
Oh, is there?
Just like on your car.
You use this
And you can say,
manually.
I gotta fill back up with some fuel, and you just drop some more pulse in there so that this thing can run every day for you.
That's cool.
Now, you don't have to let it run automatically for you. You can also just leave it where the system remembers your strategies, and you still have to come in and you hit this button that's called Compound All. So you hit that one button, you sign one single transaction, and it may do 4 or 5 transactions in the background for you, and then you're done, right? So, for example, let's say you're in the stability pool, and you like to claim your stability pool rewards every day, and then you like to go stake those in the staking pool, and you like to claim those rewards every day and put them back into the stability pool, right?
You know how many times I've done that manually? A lot.
So what is that? That's a claim, and then that's a stake, which when you do that stake, it'll claim out of there. It's at least 3 transactions, maybe 4, right? Well, this system, you hit one button, Compound All, and it does all 3 or 4 of those transactions in one single go, right? So just every day, at your leisure. You come in, hit one button, sign it. You say, oh, okay, cool. It did everything that I would have done way quicker now. And then you go about your business.
So it's still the same amount of gas as if you would do it manually, like on the other front end, but it's just
for the most part, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, whatever. Either way,
it lumps it all into one block. So
it's less of an issue with PulseChain than it is like Liquidity.
It might actually be a slightly cheaper when it does that because it like batches those transactions into one.
Oh.
It's probably actually slightly cheaper.
Okay, yeah. I have to check that out.
What's your favorite strategy, Jesse?
So it's probably actually the hot pull strategy, which is I think what I just described.
We do the same strat. Yeah.
So to sit in the stability pool with stable coins and then earn free earn tokens or loan tokens or flex tokens, and then go drop those into the staking pool and just let that grow. So
I think Jesse and I shared that liking that strat because first of all, just to be real, if you sacked for PulseChain and you had enough, you could do the 1,000% collateralization, right? So you could technically do that, put into the stability pool, which to me seemed like I like doing the safe route, the safest and the less time. I mean, even though I've been manually like doing all of this, keeping it at least close to 1,000% collateralization. But it's a pretty safe thing where you can kind of avoid the liquidation because the collateralization is higher than most. Like I was looking at the and this isn't liquid loans, but on the earn protocol, I was trying to see like at what percentage a lot of these collateralizers, and a few of them are over 1,000, but usually it hovers around like, I don't know, 500% collateralization, like a lot of people do, but then you kind of have to go back and check it if it's very volatile. Like I remember after the SEC thing, like a big drop in price, people who don't want to get liquidated, which again isn't the worst thing in the world, but if you don't want to lose your collateralization in your vault, yeah, go check it. But if it's high enough collateralization, you don't tend to necessarily have to do it that often. But you do want to check, like if you're part of my strategy too, and Jesse has it too, is when it goes above 100 or it goes above 1,000, then you can just put more stuff in the either loan or stability pool, right? And keep it going. But the 1,000% is generally kind of a nice place I like to keep my collateralization.
Nice. Very good. We're going to wrap it up in a minute, guys. But Jesse, do you have any other Power City Easter eggs for the people at home who've stayed throughout our stream?
Well, Pixel Park is still in the works. So that is an audit at the moment. It's taken a long time to build that protocol. In fact, we built it twice.
I'm excited to see it when it's out.
So we got all the way to through our first audit, which actually passed, and it was good. And we just scratched our head and said, you know what, it's not different enough from what's currently out there. As much as people would like to see this, or maybe not. Look, the NFT market on PulseChain is not very big.
Yeah, so NFT on Pulse just disappeared, I think. So,
but the NFT, the desires for NFTs on PulseChain were such that we said, you know what, we think we actually have some more time to go back to the drawing board, add a lot more cool tools into this. Okay, so you'll see things like making it really easy to mint NFTs right inside of our platforms. Create some art and hit a couple buttons and bam, you minted yourself an NFT, and you can create a collection and do all these what are normally complex things that you need multiple different protocols for. We kind of wanted to make everything very simple, and we thought maybe doing it that way would reinvigorate the NFT like the NFT people on PulseChain. It may not work. It literally feels like not very many people on PulseChain.
Well, there are NFTs that create the passive income too. Like there's the Watt one, and then there's like There's Watsas, Pulse Kittens that generates yield
Yeah.
too.
I mean, people could build on top of it. Like they could use your stable coins and they could combine it. Exactly. They could build on top of your
Eventually
NFT marketplace
Right.
with utility that connects to your protocols.
Right.
I'm excited to see it because I was saying a couple months ago there's a gap in the NFT marketplace because NFT on Pulse disappeared. And it doesn't seem like there's much action going on other marketplaces. Like I released a collection ages and ages ago and none of them are for sale. And I think it's just that I spread all of the NFTs to say 80 people. And I think people just forget about them and they're in their wallet. And so they're not necessarily like interacting with the marketplace to even think to sell them.
Right. So we'll see what happens. We're excited to at least release that tool when it's ready to the public and market it and see what happens with it. You've seen what happened to all the other NFT marketplaces on PulseChain. They kind of just like disappeared. But we did make a promise, so to speak, back at the beginning. Hey, we're going to launch all these different things. Pixel Park being one of those. So we're still following through with what we promised, regardless.
That's awesome. And it comes in waves, and you just don't know when the next NFT wave's gonna be there. So no, that's cool. Hodpril, do you have any Easter eggs regarding the Hodpril strategy you'd like to share with our audience before we say goodbye?
I mean, I like to do the 1,000% collateralization. Use your own judgment of what you want that to be. I like putting into the stability pool, and you can do that in both earn and the liquid loans. But I guess you can do it with the hex stuff too, right? I wasn't as aware of that, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, the stability pool, you earn like for liquid loans, you earn the loan and the Pulse, and you can stake that loan. So it's pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Put it back in. So it's really cool that I want to check out the amplifier because it does take a lot of steps where like, okay, if you use these protocols, you have to kind of go in and you take the rewards of one thing and then put it in the other. Like you have to, take your, like, let's say loan out and then stake that and then take the proceeds from, loan and then put that back into the stability pool, or, so there's just multiple steps of like keeping it going and keeping that collateralization where you want it. And it depends on the price of Pulse or whatever your collateralization is too. So automating that might be cool, but you know what? I always think you should check, just check it every once in a while, even if you're automating, go check your stuff. And this comes from a holder, right? Like just make sure you keep your eye on it, but
Thanks, Hodpril. I see I didn't scroll down in the chat, apologies, but I see Gina's here. Hey Gina, how's the iron ore price going? Yeah, you making us rich or what? I think Gina always makes us rich every year and then we give it to the other side of the country. That's how we play it. It is now. Hello, Tin Top is here. Tam, how's it going?
Hey, Tam.
Now Briss has got, here we go. We've got a question here. Just ask Jesse a question. Concern troll. I love it. I don't know why I found that funny. I haven't so much. When I input HEXDC and PXDC and try to trade it for USDC, I often see a lot of slippage over 200K. I worry I will take a big loan and then be trapped in the stable coins that can't buy one-to-one. What say you, Jesse?
So a couple thoughts on that, right? And he doesn't seem to like the answer, but that's okay. So first off, make sure that you're using the most the best DEX, okay, or an aggregator. So look on something like Pateus, which is going to search across something like PHUX, and find the best rate for your stablecoin. Now, if you have a big bag like 200K or more, you might eat some slippage. Look, there's only a couple million of these stablecoins in existence. A lot of people like to put those in the stability pool. And until there's mega millions of these things in existence and more liquidity providers, 200K is going to have some slippage. Okay. $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, you're not going to have all that much slippage. You're going to be okay. 200K, you're going to eat quite a bit of slippage. But it's also important to remember, this system is a liquidity pool, and every single stablecoin is directly redeemable for $8 worth of its collateral. You don't have to use a DEX if you don't want to. You could, if you wanted to, take 200K worth of stablecoins, hit one button, it's called the redeem button, and get $200,000 for the PulseX, or $200,000 for the Pulse, or $200,000 for the Hex, directly out of the protocol. Okay? It has to be that way. And it is its own liquidity pool. The liquidity pool being the vaults on one side and all the holders as the other side of the pool, with the redeem button allowing you to swap between one and the other. Okay? So if you took a loan and it was big enough that you're like, oh, I'm trying to swap out of 200K or more, and I don't like the rate. Okay? You can back yourself back out if you want, or you could hit the redeem button, get yourself 200K worth of coins directly redeemed out of the protocol. Might not make other people happy to do that. But look, people aren't happy when people do large swaps anyway. You know, somebody goes and they dump $200,000 for the Hex, for example. The markets get mad at them, right? Because they're, look at this guy dumping the price. But the same thing, you could just directly redeem for 200K worth of the underlying collateral and go swap that. Maybe that has better liquidity somewhere. And even then, you still might be tax advantaged, because when you back all the way out to where you started, you still have a loan, and you did all that with loaned assets, right? So you can put 200K worth of or more of worth of collateral up, mint 200,000 stable coins. You could immediately hit the redeem button, get $200,000 for the PulseX or Pulse or Hex right back into your wallet again, and go swap that and go about your business, and still not pay those capital gains taxes you otherwise would have, because you did it all with a loan. Right?
Okay,
People
so
really like to hear this. Maybe you want more liquidity. Well, maybe if you've got bags of 200K or more, perhaps consider being a liquidity provider yourself.
I think, like you said, Jesse, as people take out more loans, this is going to be less of an issue, and you can always redeem it. But this is Briz's safe word, so I just got to put this in the chat. It's like, if you say ink, Briz will calm down. It's all right. We'll talk about ink next week, Briz. Briz, you want to be our cameo next week? Briz loves ink. I love ink as well.
I
you love ink
too. I love ink too. You know what? I almost wore my ink necklace, except behind a green screen, it just disappeared.
Oh, you have. I don't have an ink
but
one.
It's beautiful.
Aussie greatest, everyone.
But yeah, the incentive token, man. And as soon as something starts rolling on the PulseChain, if there's big moves, I mean, ink is the incentive token for the liquidity provider. So that's pretty bullish. You think about what could happen there. So I'm a big fan.
Yeah, Tango's done some tweets on the utility, potential future utility of ink, which we'll talk about next week. But thanks, guys. That's been a great show. And I'm actually talked myself into being super bullish on taking out a loan now. Jesse, any final words?
No, let's just cross our fingers and hope that things just continue to become more and more bullish. Richard has some sort of win with his cases, and things brighten up for PulseChain.
Yeah. Thank you very much for being here. And I love the music interludes that we've had. It's been awesome. Hotpro, any final words?
Encore, Jess.
Encore. Okay. And Jesse to take us out. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, chat. I'm bullish. Text on PulseChain. I'm going to be learning how to take out
What's he going to hurry up and play now? Give us something good.
Because there's only so much gas in your ladder.
I have no idea. I know.
Smoke on the water. Bum, bum, bum.
This one may be loud.
Good.
Oh, do it. Hey, thanks everyone. Have a good one.
Woo!